Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today's Monday. It's December 12th, 2022. My name's Jeremy. This is my first cup. I want to say good morning to Liz, Frank, Mark, Stacy, and all the rest of you out there watching live later or listening. Thank you for coming by. Well, here we are. It's Monday. I am back home for a Monday show. Some of you caught Friday's show, the first show back, and the world's a little bit different. Had a great weekend. I did not work Friday. Did a little bit of work. So actually, that's not true. That's not true. There were a ton of boxes that I had to pack. There were so many boxes that I had to pack. Orders that came in for sparring gear while I was away. And I wrote to everyone and said, hey, I'm away. It's going to be a few days. Are you okay with that? Some people didn't respond. Some people said, yeah, I'll wait. So on Saturday, I drove 6 boxes to the post office, which is a lot for a week. We don't normally do 6 orders in a week. But that may change because it seems like we're finally starting to get the sparring gear attention we deserve. I can only imagine how much we would sell if we had all the colors and all the sizes. And some of it's Christmas stuff. Let's see, who else is here? Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Dennis. Dennis says, happy 13 days to Christmas. That's right. It's less than 2 weeks. Some of you are really excited. Stacy says, Jeremy, good morning, buddy. Good morning, Stacy. I had a wonderful time in Florida. Really it's not hyperbole to say it was a life-changing experience, but I did miss a bit of my routine. I missed being here and starting my day with all of you. I missed my bed. I missed getting an adequate night's sleep. But if I had to do it all over again, I would do it in a heartbeat. If you only have a chance to go to one live event in the world, it should be something from Whistlekick. But if you have a chance to go to 2, you should check out some Tony Robbins stuff. I suspect those of you that value the things that we are doing at Whistlekick, that really see the vision, would be similarly receptive to what Tony does. Oh, there goes a plow truck. We got some snow. Yesterday morning, was sitting here after 13 hours of sleep, and it started spitting snow and started putting together my plan for my day, and really wanted to leave the house because I had been in the house pretty much all day Saturday except running to the post office and the grocery store, and thought, let's get out of here. A couple of things I wanted to go do. So I went and did them, and it was snowing, and I took the Jeep, which has big knobby tires, but they're not snow tires. And so I realized, this is probably not going to be my primary winter vehicle. I'll be switching some stuff over soon. But that's okay. If anybody had any big wins over the weekend, any great stuff they want to share, anything that you did you train, compete? I know, I don't know if any of you involved in that are here, but I know there was a big belt testing among some members of our community. And so just if there's anything like that, let's put it out there. Let's share it. Let's see what you guys did that we should be celebrating. Brian had a birthday over the weekend, of course. Thank you for the reminder, Frank. And Liz says, it feels like Christmas is coming now. It snowed all day yesterday. It made me so happy. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I have no issue with snow. I like snow. My issue with snow comes when I have to drive places and it's still snowing and the roads are bad, or when we get so much that I have to use a snowblower, which I just rather would not do. Dennis is singing. I saw you mention this, Stacy. I'd love to see the segment. Stacy was on a local TV station last night talking about folding cranes and giving back to the community. All right. Well, Brian, my support to you. Brian says, I've had a very rough weekend, the worst in about 4 years. I do not have the capacity to stay live with everyone right now. My apologies. And I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say my heart goes out to you. If there's anything that you need, don't be afraid to reach out. And I'm sorry, and I hope it gets better. Stacy says, I have no problem with snow, but black ice bites. Sure does. Yeah, Kelly had a long, big black belt testing Saturday, a great day for all. Liz loves snow like Buddy loves Christmas. Right on. So that was my weekend. I'm going to show you this. Hold on. I'll show you when it's mounted too. But once I finished the painting of the wall, the yellow accent wall, I knew I needed to get some art up. And I started looking around and I was like, what do I want to put up here? And I didn't know what I wanted. So I just started looking. And I'm looking online and I got a sense I wanted something that was artistic, not just photos. And that was part of why I went out and about yesterday. I went to some stores and looked to see what I could find. And I found something that kind of jumped out at me. And the colors work wonderfully. And I like it for a variety of reasons. I've got a feeling some of you will dig this. And it looks perfect up on the wall. So I just need to mount it now. And a painting from a gentleman named Salam Muhammad. So there we go. So that was part of yesterday. What else we got? Oh, Stacy's got her link here. Stacy, if you could drop that in a Facebook thing for me, that would be awesome, or email. Jenny had class on Saturday, started learning a new form. Awesome. Got our tree and had the kids help decorate it. Family time. It was wonderful. And then Matt had to go back to his, quote, real job for the first time since knee surgery. He says he hurts and he's not even home yet. You're right. Stacy says, hey, now photos are art too. They absolutely are. But there are a lot of photos around my house. I wanted something that was a different dynamic. It's not a criticism, but if I look in there, photo in my bed, it's pretty much all photos in terms of artwork. And I wanted something that was more painting. So. What's today? Today's Monday. I have meetings like start to finish. It's a huge stack of meetings. Little gaps in between. Very little. So it's going to be busy. It's going to be a really busy week because it's also a recording week. And then an attempt to take Friday off. So stacking all those together, it's a busy week. If anybody's trying to get in to see me or anything, that's probably not happening this week. If it's an emergency or something, yes. But it's all good. Hopefully I'll get to the gym tonight. We'll see if I can shed enough of the last bits here. I thought about going to the gym yesterday, but my body wasn't quite ready for it. Whatever I have is, it's on the way out and I feel good. My brain actually works today. Yesterday I was a little fuzzy, but it's time for some movement. It is Monday, and of course Monday means a new episode of Martial Arts Radio. If you saw last week, I shared an episode. I had guested on an episode of the Martial Arts Lifestyle podcast. I'm about 85% sure that was the name of it. I posted on my Facebook page, and I shared it all over. I think it was on Whistlekick and my personal Instagram. Hosted by a man named James Cox, who had reached out and very kindly offered an exchange. He's like, come on my show, I'll come on yours. I had a great time. I had a great time being on his show. Had a great time with him on ours. And his episode, 770, is out today. You'll find that everywhere, of course. And yeah, I hope you all continue to enjoy the episodes that we put out. I'm thankful that we get to do them. I'm grateful I get to keep having conversations with such wonderful people. Ugh. I feel like my ear needs to pop. Ooh. Good morning, Gad. Gad says, good morning, Whistlekick family. Hope you had a nice weekend. I think most of us did. So you can check out that episode. It's there. Audio only, I believe, on this one. What else today? Anything else today? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything specific going on. No, tomorrow is not a recording day. That's right. I just have another stack of meetings. And it feels like a recording day because there's so much going on tomorrow. Maybe there is even one tomorrow. I don't remember. I've run out of things to say. So we're going to switch it over. We're going to head on over to what Frank gave us to talk about. Shout out and thank you as always to Frank. Make sure I have things to talk about. I appreciate you, my friend. And thanks to Josh for our theme song. And a reminder, if anybody wants to do better graphics, the top edge of this screen, somebody else wants to do that, I wouldn't hate it. Where am I? I'm going over here, and then I'm going here. Over the weekend, I watched Elf, and I rewatched all the Austin Powers movies. So today is Royce Gracie's 56th birthday. I don't know why, but I would have assumed he was older than that. So that meant at the UFC debut, wow, he was younger than I expected. He was in his 20s when the UFC debut. Okay. So today is Royce Gracie's 56th birthday. Of course, often credited as the man who really publicly became the face of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or Gracie Barra, depending on the name you want to ascribe to it. And made a whole bunch of people a whole bunch of money and brought a bunch of fame. And now we have a very, very, very large Gracie family, and they're all BJJ practitioners. And somehow they all seem to be amazing, which is pretty cool. Stacy's cheering for Frank. Frank. We got some quotes from him here. You win the fight in the training camp, not on the day of the fight. Oh, so well said. It's about your practice. It's about your preparation, your attitude, all the things that you do leading up to it. It's the detail work because you have full control over that. You control what you eat, when you train, how you feel, how you recover. You have control over those things. You don't have control over the competition, the fight, whatever it may be. If you're giving a presentation, you have control over how much you practice, how you go into that practice, how many run-throughs you do. Do you get people to give you feedback, things like that? If you show up cold for the presentation, you're probably not going to do as good of a job. As I said, probably. Once in a while, some of us respond best under extreme pressure, but that's not most of us, and that's not even most of the time for those who do. If you pay attention to the details, you do what's got to get done, what should get done, right? Yeah. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. Doesn't matter if we're talking about work or health or training. It's all about the details. Can you imagine stepping into a rank test not having done any practice? You might be able to get away with that if you're early on in your martial arts career. Maybe you're testing for your first stripe or something like that. You can probably get by with just the material and the time in class. But I don't know too many people who step into their black belt test having done no outside training, no extra class training. It's going to be really hard to pull off. Unless, of course, your school has really low standards, which is possible. Some schools do. Control training camp. The idea of jiu-jitsu is to give the little guy a chance to beat the big guy. And it works. No, I love martial arts of all kinds. I think you all know that. I don't think that's any kind of a secret. What I find interesting is how many people who have trained only in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, or never trained anything at all, and they watch. They think it's a be-all, end-all. There is no be-all, end-all. If there was a be-all, end-all, there wouldn't be weight classes. If size didn't matter, there we go. If size didn't matter, it wouldn't matter. But it does matter. So there are weight classes. I think it's a wonderful art. I won't even say I've trained in it. I've dabbled in it. I did 3 months formally. And it was a nice experience. I missed the formality of bowing and everything. There was something missing in it for me. Not a criticism of the art. I could fully see training BJJ elsewhere and finding it really valuable. And I'm not even saying I wouldn't go back to it. But I like punching and kicking. It's my thing. Stacy says, I've got my index cards at the ready each time I test. And Jenny says, same. I have old copies of the tests that we study from too. Oh, cool. Gad says, thanks to the Gracies, I had to explain that I did Japanese jiu-jitsu when I said I do jiu-jitsu. They have definitely kind of co-opted the name because, let's face it, how many people are doing Japanese jiu-jitsu? Not as many. And how many people talk about it? I also find that this happened last week, and I actually didn't correct the person, but I likely will at some point. The blurry lines, even among people who train, between MMA and traditional martial arts. So I was having a conversation with someone who had done some kickboxing and then years of Muay Thai. And as we were talking about things, and maybe one day I'm hoping to find a space and open a gym, open a karate school, a dojo. They were referring it to as an MMA gym. Like, not quite. Not the way I define MMA. Oh, I love it. You guys are fun. All right. What's our last one here? So the last one, talented people without discipline don't go anywhere. Let me read that again. Talented people without discipline don't go anywhere. How many of us have known people like this? In school, in training? I've known a bunch of people like this in training. It's often someone who steps in and they'll join in their 20s. They've probably never done any martial arts, but they've done a bunch of other stuff. Maybe they wrestled, or maybe they were a 2-3 sport athlete in school and they were interested in martial arts. And let's face it, the way most schools start teaching is pretty simple. And it's pretty easy to feel good about yourself. That's part of the goal when you start learning to punch and kick. And 3 to 6 months in, you're like, I'm pretty good at this. And then they quit. And if you get a chance to have a conversation, some of those people will admit, it was pretty easy. You were scratching the surface. It's like going to kindergarten and quitting school because you were able to read the book out loud without help because, mom and dad have been teaching you how to read since you were 2. That's not all there is. There's a lot more. how are you going to do when you get to, I don't know, differential equations? It's not going to be easy. How are you going to do in training when you get to, I don't know, defending against multiple attackers? It's a whole different bag. Nobody's ever happy. It's too easy. It's too hard. No, Mama Bear. Everybody's got a different just right. And it rarely exists in the same place for long. So I'm thinking about my day. I'm thinking about all the things going on. All the meetings. So many meetings. These are good meetings. We get to connect and see what's coming. See what everybody's working on. I think we're going to call it. I don't have anything else to say. So I know a couple of you ordered Dragon hoodies. I got to put those mock-ups together for you. Those will happen soon. Swag packs I got to put together for one of you. Yeah, it's been a bunch of great stuff. I really appreciate all of you. Oh, that's right. There was a Andrew had his thing on Saturday. Craig taught. I went up to Keene and trained with Andrew and Craig, learned a lot, and it was super fun. That's awesome. Had I not been ill, I would have been there. All right, everybody. I appreciate you coming by. Remember, if you want to support Whistlekick, not just this show, but Whistlekick in general, we've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Whistlekick. I didn't touch the Patreon while I was gone because I was getting 3.5, 4.5, 5 hours of sleep each night and didn't have much to say. But you better believe I'll be digging back in and making up for lost time this week. It's all about value over there. That wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted this one. There we go. We've got the code FIRSTCUP15, saves you 15% on anything from sparring gear to clothing to anything but events. Don't wait on All In Weekend. Don't wait. I'm watching the numbers on the background. I'm watching the amount of people looking at that event. And it is our most trafficked product right now, last I looked, over the last few weeks. People are really looking at it hard. And that says something to me, right? It's not, it hasn't just been one day, right? Not just like, oh, I mentioned it here and like people are checking. No, this is happening. And given that we are more than half sold on it, and it's the end of April, yeah, what do we got? 4.5 months to go. It'll sell out. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I hope you have a great day. I appreciate you all coming by. I will see you tomorrow. Check out that episode of Martial Arts Radio with James Cox. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Peace.